Hello, my friends. I am really happy to see you here today. Welcome. So, today we're going to talk about the body center or instinctive center. This is going to be the last center we are talking about. So, we already covered mind center, heart center, and now somewhere around our belly there is our body center, our core, our instincts, our base, our power, our energy. Like all of this is our body center. You can also call it somatic intelligence or instinctive intelligence. It's something really, really old, something that we've always had, and something that is developing along the way as well, something that is at the base of ourselves. And as other centers, it can be either balanced or disbalanced or somewhere in between. So when it's balanced, how do we feel? When our body is balanced, we are able to feel energetic. We feel this energy of vitality. We feel this liveliness inside of us. We feel this desire to do something. We feel that we want to do something. We have energy for it. We have resource. We feel resourceful. That's how we feel when our body center is balanced. And the core emotion of our body center is rage, is anger. So when our body center is in balance, that means that we found a way consciously or unconsciously to work with our anger, to release it in a healthy way, to express it in a healthy way, and to not oppress it, not to store it within us. And that's where we get the energy from, because anger or rage is a very, very powerful energy. It's like one of the most powerful and it can be super destructive and it can be super creating at the same time. That's why when we oppress it, we end up losing a lot of energy that we might want to use for something else, because in order to hold this fire within us, we need to really put a lot of effort, otherwise it's gonna burst, right? So this is what happens when our body center is balanced. We feel resourceful, we feel energetic, we want to live, we know what it's like to be alive, to feel alive, to want to live this life, you know, to be excited about life, to be excited about doing something, to be in this kind of state where you have this very, very pleasant calmness within you, because your base, your body, your instincts, your desires are balanced, they're stable, they're covered. Your rage and your anger is being expressed and used in a healthy way, the one that is beneficial for you, the one that doesn't hurt others. It creates healthy boundaries. Boundaries that allow you to be respectful and loving towards yourself and towards others at the same time. Yeah, so this is how the boundaries work. It's some kind of a common ground where you can give yourself and you can give others at the same time, without having this inner conflict of okay, so maybe I'm giving too much, or maybe I'm taking too much, you know, and stuff like that. So this is another sign of a balanced and healthy body center, is healthy boundaries that you are aware of and that you can communicate to other people, right? So you have these boundaries, you have this energy of life within you. You can create, you can do things, you feel kind of very grounded, because your base is covered, but at the same time you feel very light because you're not putting a lot of effort into suppressing your rage. You're able to become friends with it, you're able to use it, and this is how we feel when our body center is balanced, right? Okay, so now let's go to the other side. When there's something going on in the body center and it's getting out of balance, a lot or a little. Yeah, so one of the first signs is not being able to maintain healthy boundaries, right? So when you always feel that it can be conscious as well, it can be unconscious, right? So when you always feel that other people are not respecting your boundaries. Respect is a very important word in this video because our body center is in need of having this respect, is in need of having the power, but when it's balanced, it comes from within. It's coming from within, so you have this respect towards yourself to the extent that you can maintain healthy boundaries, right? So you don't need the respect from other people, right? You can be autonomous in this way. But when you don't have it within you, you're seeking for the external respect. And this is basically the strategy that is happening in every center. When you don't have the love within, in the heart center, you're seeking for the external love and attention and blah, blah, blah. When you don't have the feeling of safety and confidence from within, you're seeking for external safety, you're seeking for external approval. That's what's happening in the mind center. And in the body center, when you don't have this sense of self-respect from within, of this power from within, you're seeking it from the outside, from the external respect, for the external power, and etc. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that it's important to understand that whenever your center is in balance, there is a need that is frustrated, right? So you either overdo something or you underdo something. Yeah, so you're always in these extremes, like too much or too little, right? So, and the first strategy we're gonna talk about is when you're too much, right? So when you don't have this sense of inner respect, like really sincere self-respect that is coming from within, you're trying to build a lot of layers around yourself as a coping mechanism to get respect from other people. How does it work? You are absolutely rejecting the fact that you can be vulnerable because you see it as weakness, right? And it doesn't deserve respect. So you also don't care about other people being vulnerable in this case, because again you see this as weakness and you see this as something that doesn't align with the power, with the strength, you know. And these are the key qualities for you in yourself and other people. So there is a lot of contest, there is a lot of competition, there is a lot of this, you know, when little boys they're competing whose dick is longer. So this is this is what adults do as well. They're competing who is stronger, who is more powerful, who has you know. Yeah, so you're competing all the time with other people, but not directly, not obviously, but inside yourself. Like you are completely unable to build any kind of symmetrical relationship, because in your head there is always this competition for the power. It's not the achievements, it's not talents, nothing like that. It's the power, the authority, and this strength. This is what you're competing for. And this kind of lifestyle and this kind of philosophy often leads you to become this kind of person from the outside, you know. So if you're using this strategy, most probably your voice changes a lot. It becomes more it becomes lower, it becomes more like kind of pressurizing. I cannot do this. Yeah, my voice is a little bit not suitable for that, but it over time you kind of develop this armor around you, which changes your voice, which changes your body, so you become more kind of more stable, more grounded, bigger, because when you're using this strategy, you also tend to don't respect a lot or at all other people's boundaries, so you end up kind of being on their territory always. You end up being this kind of how do you call this person, like a conqueror, you know, like you try to conquer their ground, their space, their personal space, because if they're unable to, you know, to show the power back to you, then you just do this because they don't respect that, they don't deserve the respect then if they're too weak, let's put it this way, if they're different. Yeah, so and then you build this armor of a big, scary and powerful person. But what really happens, that usually inside there is this little vulnerable soul, you know, that is seeking for some love, for some respect, for some boundaries, something that it's lacking from within, you know. It's a good example, a funny one, but a good one, is, you know, when we see these little dogs, like very, very little dogs that are being so aggressive, they bark so much, they're just like barking and being so aggressive, like as if they're gonna kill you now. But when you come closer, you see that they're scared much more than you. Yeah, so what would they do? What would people using this strategy do? They would not let you come any closer, so you don't see how vulnerable they actually are, how soft they actually are. And this is again happening very unconsciously. And these people, unless they start working with this, they will never admit that there is any vulnerability or softness within them. And sometimes people spend their entire lives wearing this mask. Every strategy we use is a mask, and the key here is to see yourself wearing the mask and to let go of it. Yeah, so that's the point. And we can spend years, months, decades on this, but it's important to do this, because otherwise you don't know why you're doing whatever you're doing. Yeah. And the second strategy is not too much, but too little. Too little is when you, okay, so the first strategy, people also express their aggression a lot. So they're powerful, they're strong, they have big balls, you know, and that's why they can express their aggression a lot, you know. They're very expansive, they can scream at you, they can be like, okay, let's fight, you know, like this kind of people. The second one is too little, and this is all the opposite of that, you know. It's like, it will be very soft people, very like, yes, this, that, you know, and their boundaries will be so unaware of their boundaries that they will literally just won't be able to say no to other people. And if you are unable to say no to other people, like you don't want to do this, you know, like you know, oh, I don't want to do this, but I cannot say no, that might be a sign that you're in this too little zone. Yeah, because you're unable to say no, because you're super unaware of your boundaries, and you cannot give yourself this permission, this allowance to say no in case you don't want to do something. And these people, people using this strategy, they also tend to be very passive. They're always somewhere in some kind of a wonderland. They're just spending their time dreaming of something good. They're like always in this trance state. And when you talk to them, sometimes they'll like listen to you, blah blah blah, and then you call their name and be like, oh, like you said something, because they didn't hear anything, because the entire time they were in their land of wonders, and they have no interest in whatever is going on here, because here is not easy, right? Because these people usually have this tendency to oppress their anger, to oppress any kind of aggression, any kind of rage. And as I said earlier, it takes enormous amount of energy away from you. Yeah, if you always hold this huge ball of fire within you, it's like your body is not capable of everything in this world. Your body has the limits, and if you always like hold and hold and hold, it's so exhausting, it's so tiring, that you end up being like very passive all the time. You talk very slow, very quiet, most probably. You don't have your own goals. You can help other people with their goals, with their ideas, but you don't have the energy in order to develop your own. You don't have your own goals, you don't have your own desires, you don't have your own ideas, you don't have this kind of will, this energy, this excitement about life, because you're tired. You're always tired, you're always kind of passive. Someone tells you something, you say, okay. You cannot say no, because you're tired, you don't have the energy to say no. And this is, it's a very exhausting strategy. And in this case, important is to accept your rage, to accept your aggression, and to allow yourself to express it, to allow yourself to feel it. It's important that you allow yourself to feel it, that you say that, yes, I have the right to feel this way, I have the right to say no, I have the right to take what is mine, I have a right for my personal boundaries, and I have the right to communicate them to other people. I can do all of those things. And it's important in this case to find some ways to just slowly start working with your aggression. You can go for martial arts, for some competitive sports, I don't know, maybe some kind of expressive body practices, because this is the body center, so we have to work with our body. That's why martial arts, that's why sports, that's why something like this, you can scream, you can shout, you can do things like that. But it's important to start letting it out, because it's really, really not healthy to keep it all inside. It's really, really not healthy to eat everything, to say yes every time you want to say no. It's not gonna do any good for you, right? So, and the last strategy I wanted to talk about is becoming a control freak. This is what happens. So when your body center, it is also the center of your desires, of your instincts, of your needs, of all these sorts of things. And when it's out of balance, people can tend to be over controlling with their desires, right? So they are not allowing themselves to experience desires. For example, you're a workaholic, yeah, you just see the only reason in the world is to work. There is no place for joy because it's not efficient, you know, it's not going to do anything, right? There is no place for pleasure, there is no place for treating yourself or spoiling yourself, and you just kind of carving this kind of a perfect person out of yourself. And what happens here is again that you're suppressing this anger, you're suppressing those desires, and you're just becoming this control freak perfectionist kind of, in a way. Yeah, and what happens when you're not allowing yourself to want something, when you're not allowing yourself to have any pleasures, where you're not allowing yourself to feel joy, you know, when you're not allowing yourself to be irresponsible. Sometimes it's okay, you know, you don't have to be responsible and a grown-up kind of all the time, you know. It's important to have some fun, it's important to have joy, it's important to do silly things, it's important to rest, you know, it's important to change the roles every now and then. So when you're completely suppressing all of this and not allowing yourself to do that, what happens is that you become super criticizing towards yourself and towards other people. Yeah, so everything that we are reject in ourselves, we're gonna reject in other people. Like, you're this kind of super serious, with looks like this serious face that is never smiling, super responsible, super grown up, perfect person, never late, never doing anything outside of the protocol, of your own protocol or of someone else's protocol, doesn't matter. And then you see this person who is like so chilled, wearing some kind of like easy clothes, you know, like doing what they want to do, you know, like having some pleasures, blah 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 and stuff like this. What you're gonna be doing? You're gonna be criticizing this person for being like this. Like, what the fuck, you know, you have to grow up, you have to do this, you have to do that. So you're gonna either criticize passively, or you're gonna criticize actively and be like, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that, do, and stuff like that. And because you're like physically incapable of criticizing every single thing in this world that is out of order, or every single person in this world who is not behaving according to your standards, what you start to do, you start storing even more of this kind of, it's not even rage or aggression, it's this kind of like dissatisfaction, you know, when you're looking at someone, you're like, he should have done a different thing. Or when you're looking at something, it's like, oh, this should have been done differently, you know. And then you have this kind of annoying idea that you need to fix it. Yeah, so when you're also using this strategy, you tend to fix things all the time, you know. Someone is doing something, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go fix it because he's gonna fuck it up, you know. Of course he's gonna fuck it up, you know. Or this is already fucked up, I'm gonna go and fix it. And there is no room for any imperfections, there is no room for any joy, for any relaxation, for pleasure. No, it has to be the way it has to be. So this is like super rigidity. This is what it looks like. So you see one way and you go this way, that's it, super rigid. Yeah, and this is the third strategy that I wanted to talk about today, and I think for now it's enough. Let me know if you're using any of those strategies, or maybe you know other people who are using any of the strategies, or maybe it gave you some kind of thoughts or ideas that you feel like contemplating on. And for now that's it. And at the end, I would like to guide a little practice to balance your body center, right? So stay wherever you are, or take a sit, or lay down, or just be wherever you are now. Close your eyes And just breathe naturally. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just keep focusing on your breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Just breathe naturally and keep focusing on your breath. And with every inhale, try to relax your body a little bit more. You can move your neck, your shoulders, maybe stretch from side to side a little bit. And keep focusing on your breath. And just release some excess tensions from your body. And now you can place your palms on your belly or keep them the way they are, depending on what you want to do, how you feel. And just try to shift your focus on the area of your belly and connect a little bit to this area. This is your body center, your core, your base. With every breath, connecting even more to this center. And slowly start visualizing a mountain at the bottom of your body. As if it's your base. And with every breath, connect even more to this energy of the mountain. This great, beautiful, enormous calmness. If you've ever been to the mountains, remember the feeling that you had there. Remember how calm you feel. Remember this calm and confident power that is coming from the mountain. It has been there for millions of years, and it will be there for millions of years. Nothing can move it, nothing can shift it, no matter what wind, what weather, snow, water, fire. The mountain is always going to be there, strong and calm and powerful and beautiful. So with every breath, connect even more with this energy. And stay here for some time, knowing that there is this strong and confident and calm mountain right at your base. Keep breathing and keep focusing on this area. You can stay here as long as you need, and just repeat after me. The base of my body is a strong and beautiful mountain. I am centered in my body. I am centered in my body. I am centered in my body. Repeat it as many times as you feel like, and stay here as much as you feel like. And for now, this video is over, and it was my pleasure to talk to you. It was my pleasure to have you here, and I will see you soon. Mwah.